Grant said in his TED Talk that the most creative people are not the ones that get the assignments done as soon as they get them. They are not the ones that procrastinate long enough to where it becomes a chore hours before an assignment's due. They're the ones right in the middle, the ones in the pocket. My name's Tarab. I make emotional intelligence videos every day. My mission is to inspire you to take a hold of your life and to do the absolute most with it. Creativity to me has been an earnest, a wonderful friend. It has been what I have used to get away from the difficulties of life. It is what I have used to translate my experiences into another form. And many of us do not have hobbies that include creativity, but many of us do or did. Why do we lose this passion? Why do we sometimes find that we can go weeks or months having not created, though we know that we love doing it? Life gives us a lot of excuses, and oftentimes those excuses come from the mouths of people that we believe we trust. This is a hard pill to swallow for every human being, because the ones that love us most sometimes will not understand why we are doing the things that we do. Sometimes the people in our environment will give us advice based on how they perceive life, and frankly speaking, that might not be the most accurate way to go about pursuing ours. Creativity is quite simple to me. Spend the time consistently to step outside of yourself, to become a conduit for the world that you have observed, for the world that your philosophies have created. I'm a painter. I'm a drummer. I write poems. I write stories. I was a dungeon master for 2 years. I created an entire world from scratch, among other escapades in my life, like creating organizations. I could go on. The thing that I love about making things is that it requires a strategy. It requires an almost childish, whimsical attitude about the world. And really, it gives me a lot of hope and peace about my own existence. Because I can think to myself, hey, I've made hundreds of paintings. I've created, how many decks so far? 12 different commander magic decks, you know? I've created a book club. And I'm not saying this as a brag. I mean, I'm really proud of the things that I've done so far, but I'm saying it hopefully to inspire you to think about creativity as a building process. That every time you put pen to paper, that every time you splash paint somewhere, or you create a dance move, or a new lick, on the drums or something, that it's a part of the human condition to do this, right? It's a part of us to want to create things. You can see it from way back in the caveman era, where they scribbled, or not even scribbled, like really elegantly created depictions of the world that they saw. This has been the case in all throughout human history, right? So what is it inside of us that demands that a portion of the population at least make things that are not already in the world? Difficult question. My initial thoughts are that though we are a part of nature, though many of our sensibilities and many of our desires come from a core, a seed of nature, we are the distillation of nature to a degree, right? So out of a planet of billions of organisms, we have drastically, as a species, changed, literally terramorphed. Is that the right word? Terramorphed, we'll use it. The surface of the planet. We have fundamentally augmented its climate, the species that occupy it, right? Like, we have the ability to fundamentally change the world. Each individual literally has that ability too when we decide to litter or not, when we decide to pick something up off the road, when we decide to contribute to our local estuaries or arboretums. Right? We have this ability to affect more organisms than just us. There are certain ecosystem engineers in environments, in forests and deserts, whatever, that I believe know this, that understand this in their own species. Elephants are like this. They create basically like highways in the forest that thousands of animals use to navigate. Ants are like this, right? Underground systems. And though perhaps their consciousness, their ability to identify and, I guess, philosophize isn't necessarily as complicated as ours is, I believe that a lot of these organisms on the planet, I believe that a lot of the souls of these organisms understand their role. I'm saying all this to tell you that because humans are so evolved, because humans have been given the luxury of these amazing phalanges and these hands and these muscles, and also these big ass brains that we're literally born with and a body is attached to, I think it is a requirement of our souls to want to make a difference. Really want to make a difference. And that's where I believe creativity comes in. Because how many different ways can a complex organism augment the world around it? I would say infinite. Really, infinite ways. Right? Every little piece of art that's created by one of us, even pieces of art that are created by AI generators, but we handpick to show other people, it's miraculously unique. It might have a similarity, a concept that is being built upon for generations, but by virtue of our intellect, by virtue of our perspective, it is unique and beautiful in its own right. So I encourage you to practice creativity in your life. Really, in every single thing that you do. In the way that you work, in the way that you wake up, the way that you socialize. Your individuality really does matter. It matters to me, and it matters to a lot of people that you've connected to in your life. Without that realization, I believe we're not utilizing an essential tool, an essential need. We're not satisfying an essential need in our life. So think about it, my friend. As I observe how many minutes has gone by in this video, think about it. What can you do to become more creative in your life? I'll give you some things that I have thought of. One, inspiration tends to run out. Find things that inspire you to think. Really, that inspire you to think deeply about what you're doing with your time and what you want to accomplish in this life. Find things that inspire you in the creative form that you like to explore. Find other artists that you find as role models. The most brilliant artists are thieves. And it's not a bad thing to be a thief. Let me rephrase that. It's not a bad thing to want to pay homage to something that you like in the world, to want to recreate it. Because the reality is, you will never be able to recreate exactly word for word, movement for movement, any other piece of art, any other piece of content, any other piece of writing, whatever it is, by virtue of you being you, you're going to come up with something new. So inspiration runs out. Find inspiration. Find those things in your life and continue to find them. I mean, continue to watch them, continue to explore them, find new things. I use that a lot. I have a whole terabify.art page on Instagram where I upload a lot of AI generated and also my own artwork. But I also find lots and lots of brilliant artists and share their work too, for the sake of my own growth. Fine. Inspiration and creativity, hand in hand. The second thing I would say is, once you have decided what particularly you want to be creative in, the action, the repetitive action of that thing is going to make a drastic difference in your belief in yourself, but also what you're able to create, literally how awesome your creations are. Repetition, having discipline in creativity, a lot of us see as a contrast. I see it as a necessity. The people that I looked up to when I started to produce music were people like Jay Dilla, someone that would every day get up at a certain time, work 8 hours on his craft, then put it away and live his life. Any of the other beautiful artists in the world that you have listened to or come across did something very, very similar in their life. So that consistency is a requirement to creativity. It is not somehow a contrast. Okay, inspiration and consistency. Contrast. Contrast to me is one of the greatest informers in life. By which I mean the contrast of taking action with letting go, meditation, whatever it is. That contrast, the more we explore it, the wider our range of possibility becomes in our head. And I think a lot of people kind of get focused on one or the other in life. And I think that the more we try to expand or widen our horizons, the more beautiful things will actually come out of us. And that's why I'm always looking forward to new perspectives, new philosophies, new forms of engagement, because I want to get that contrast even wider. I want to get an even wider glimpse of what life can be and what life is. My name actually means soil in Arabic. It's also a nickname for Ali, the Prophet's advisor, Prophet Muhammad at least. It was said that if the Prophet, if Muhammad is the city of Islam, Ali is the gate, meaning he is the understanding that is required in order to get into that spiritual realm. Soil to me is a beautiful metaphor for how I want to think about things. Because soil has the ability to not only nurture, but it has the ability to absorb tremendous amounts of stimulus, tremendous amounts of different things that are bad for it, things that are good for it. It's a miraculous creator in itself. And that's how I intend to live my life. Hopefully I've inspired you to be more creative in yours. Because I think it'll make the world a more beautiful place when you're in it. Actualize your potential catalyst. This world needs you. And if you like this video, I have plenty more, this being one of them. Hopefully the camera is pointing to the right place, but check it out. Leave me a comment. Tell me how you feel. Take care of yourself.